Hey, what's going on everybody? Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I'm really excited about today's content because we get to talk about a brand that always crushes it and is always keeping me in business and keeping guitar players like excited about, what's the new hot commodity on the market. Today we're going to be talking about Schecter Guitars because ever since I was away for the last month or so, they've released several different new guitars, and just yesterday they released a guitar lineup that I'm really stoked on. So I just want to share with you all, share my thoughts and opinions, and just hang out with you guys, okay? So before we do that, be sure to follow me on Spotify, be sure to like this video, and be sure to subscribe to this channel that you're watching. Thank you so much, I really sincerely appreciate it. I love creating content for you all, and it's just always so much fun to hang out with you guys in the comment section and just see you guys interact with my videos. So thank you so much in advance, all right? So going to the Schecter Guitar website right now, this is the new category. Now some of these we've seen, and some of these are new heavy hitters that I haven't covered yet here on the channel. So let's just get right to it. The guitars that really caught my attention just yesterday and the ones that inspired me to make this video are the Black Ops Telecaster looking guitars from Schecter. So I'll put up the Instagram post right here that I saw yesterday. Actually, a friend of mine who's on Instagram, his name's Chris, always sends me, the new stuff that, we all love to check out. So shout out to Chris, appreciate you, man. But when I saw these, I was absolutely stoked because the Telecaster shape isn't necessarily my favorite shape at all. But with that being said, there's a lot going on with these guitars that really, I think, look sick and that are cool. And I think a lot of people are really going to be stoked about these guitars. So I haven't really checked out any sort of the specs. I want to keep this more of like a genuine reaction for this video. Let's check out the PT Black Ops. So this guitar, this right here is just like a run-of-the-mill metal guitar in my opinion. I'm really digging the 7-string and 8-string, especially multi-scale guitar, just because of how wild and weird and different it looks. But for right now, let's just check out this guitar right here, $1,200. That's relatively affordable, all things considered. Set neck, mahogany body, hip shot hardtail. This pickup right here is really interesting, and I don't know if I've ever seen this or heard of this before, a Fishman Open Core Modern. Now, I've heard of the Open Core Classics, and I don't know, is that like a new thing, or am I just like missing the mark right there? I don't think I've ever seen this pickup in any sort of guitar before. So an Open Core Modern sounds interesting to me. Like, I love Fishman pickups. I love active pickups. I know it's going to scream. I know it's going to crush. It's from Fishman. It's going to have that Fishman super clear articulate sound, more or less, right? So I'm just curious, is an Open Core Modern something new? Is it just like a Modern but just without the cover? You guys got to let me know in the comment section. But apart from that, this guitar is just very run-of-the-mill metal. It's not necessarily my favorite aesthetic. All blacked out everything isn't really my cup of tea, which is, I know, incredibly ironic. You guys always let me know that in the comment section. I get it, I hear you. With that being said, man, let's check out some of the other renditions of this guitar in this lineup. All right, here we go, $1,250. We have the PTMS Black Ops, so the multi-scale 7-string tele looking guitar. Now, I'm always curious whenever there's a multi-scale, what is the scale? Because if you're gonna make a multi-scale, go for it. Don't be conservative with like a 26.5 or, even 27. I don't really get all that much. Let's go for it. Let's see what we got here. Yep. Okay. 25.5 to 27. So it's your traditional, just standard multi-scale guitar. It makes sense, but I don't know, man, if you're going to go multi-scale, I like when companies do things a little bit differently, a little bit wild, like a 28 or something like that. Just, I don't know, man. It just allows more room for, lower tunings and, just more wild, creative, crazy ideas with the tuning and the tension and stuff like that. So, with that being said, 25.5-inch scale to 27, 24 extra jumbo stainless steel frets, that's cool. 16-inch fretboard radius, pretty flat fretboard radius. Schecter locking tuners, mahogany body, set neck. Okay, so exactly the same exact guitar as the 6-string variant, but now we just have a 7-string and a multi-scale. And last but not least, we have the $1,300 8-string. Now, I just want to double check, make sure that this is also a Fishman. Okay, cool. Making sure that it's an Open Core Modern as well. And this is for the 8-string variant. And let's check out the scale. Aha, see, check this out. That's what I'm talking about. 25.5 inches to 27.5. There we go. If you're going to make a multi-scale, make a multi-scale. Make it longer, make it better, make it, a little bit quirky. Don't be so conservative with the 27 inches. I like it. I would go 28 if I had the option to do so. Especially with an 8-string, because you're going to need at least a low F sharp or a low E. If you drop it, drop E with an 8-string. So, to hold that tension, you're really going to need some serious, either big strings or some big, long, scale length. So anyway, man, enough rambling. I'll get off my soapbox. I dig it, 27.5. That makes more sense to me personally. Another thing that's interesting here with the 8-string is we also have a 20-inch fretboard radius, so even flatter still compared to the 7-string. But all in all, everybody, for $1,300 you get a crazy looking 8-string. The reason why I wanted to make this video again is because of this lineup, because these tellies, I'm just gonna call them tellies, the PTs, whatever you wanna call them, they look pretty ridiculous, man. They look pretty wild. They look like something Stephen Carpenter would play or somebody like that. So for that, man, I dig it. I love when Schecter makes cool, kind of unique, quirky looking guitars. And to me, in my opinion, a Telecaster multi-scale 8-string with a Fishman, 1 pickup, is pretty quirky and cool to me, right? So those are those guitars. Now, while I was away, there was a couple other signature guitars that were released that I just want to touch on right now. So for $2,000, I wish it was 200. For $2,000, we get a signature Sinister Gates custom relic looking Avenger, whatever the name of this guitar is. Now, how do we feel about this guitar? Well, truthfully, as somebody who's been, or who was a massive, Avenged 7-fold fan back in the day, this shape just never really did it for me, but that's just my own opinion. I get it, for, what Avenged is and what, Brian Hayner is, or Sinister Gates, whatever you want to call him. This fits very much in the aesthetic of Avenged 7-fold. But for me, like the headstock and this kind of crazy horn, it's not really my thing. But that being said, relic guitars, they're hit or miss for me, but they seem to be kind of in right now. Seems like a lot of signature guitars are becoming like relic, like that crazy white Charvel Henrik, forget his last name, but you know what I'm talking about, like that guitar. Oh, like the Mike McCready Strat. I just feel like there's a lot of relic guitars out there. So this one is just another rendition of that. I mean, Sinister Gates, Avenged 7-fold, absolutely amazing musicians and an amazing band, obviously, like goes without saying. This guitar is cool, man. It is what it is. Not necessarily my cup of tea, but I will say I like this version better than, say, like the pinstripe version or something like that. So just want to make a point just to talk about this guitar for $2,000. Pretty steep, but, it's a pretty cool guitar, and Schecter always crushes. Staying in Avenged land, we also have a new Zachy Vengeance signature guitar for $1,500. Now, I dig this guitar much more than the previous signature model. I don't even know what that one was called, but you guys know what I'm talking about. I think this SG shape right here is really sick, man, and it's very classy and a much more modern and not modern, a much more mature signature guitar, we'll say. Like, I think this is cool. I think if anybody doesn't even know who Avenged 7-fold is or Zachy Vengeance is, they could pick one of these up and make it their own, right? It's not a billboard for, Avenged 7-fold. It's a nice, clean guitar, and you don't have to like the band, but can still like the guitar. I like signature guitars like that, where it's not playing too much into the artist or the band. It's on its own, and it could stand on its own. But if you like the band, you can pick it up. But if you don't like the band, you can still make it your own, right? So I do believe this guitar came out when I was on the road, so I didn't get to do a video on it. But mahogany body, flat top, right-handed, deep insert joint with ultra access, gloss white, satin gold hardware, Tone Pros hardware. I'm assuming signature Schecter pickups. Okay, no, I'm actually incorrect. Schecter USA Pasadena Plus and classic pickups. Okay, cool. Stainless steel frets, that's huge. Yeah, man, it's just a run-of-the-mill, cool, classy, SG variant with Zachy Vengeance's name on it. So I dig that. Then we also have this wild guitar that came out, like, give or take last week. We have a Tory Ruffin Freak Juice traditional guitar. Now, for better or for worse, this thing is going to grab your attention, man. I don't know if cool's the word. It's different. It's unique. Kind of reminds me of one of those Fender Player Plus guitars that came out, like, give or take 3 years ago. It's got that kind of ombre fade, that fade that's left to right versus like a burst or anything like that. So, the fretboard inlays are pretty sick. It looks like it has a lemon or an orange or something like that, and then orange and yellow dots. It's got Freak Juice on the back of the headstock. It's a wild guitar, an interesting guitar, and for better or for worse, it's going to grab your attention. Alder body, that makes sense for this style of guitar. Wilkinson 2-point trem, juice burst, hell yeah, gold hardware, Schecter USA Pasadena Plus with yellow bobbins, classic, and then a Schecter Nick Johnson atomic single coil with a yellow bobbin. Okay, interesting. They got a Nick Johnson pickup in the Tory Ruffin guitar. That's pretty interesting. I actually think this is my favorite guitar out of all the guitars we've checked out so far today. It's wild. It's kind of goofy, kind of gimmicky. And gimmicky kind of has like a negative connotation, but like, I don't mean that necessarily in a bad way, but it does have like a lemon on the fretboard. And it's called Freak Juice Burst or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not really taking itself too seriously. But for that, I appreciate it. Like, this guitar is cool, man. It's not just like a safe run-of-the-mill guitar. Like, that's a cool looking guitar for better or for worse, man. So out of all the ones we've checked out so far today, this is definitely my favorite one. And then to the best of my knowledge, everybody, we're gonna wrap this video up by talking about the new Wild Audio model. I love Wild Audio. Zakk Wylde seems to be hit or miss for a lot of people. I'm not really sure why. I guess because he like loves his pinch harmonics and loves his Viking homage and Viking aesthetic and all that. But like, dude, Zakk Wylde's the shit, bro. Like, Zakk Wylde is the reason why I'm so obsessed with pinch harmonics and why, like, when it's my turn to play, like, that's what I do all the time. It's because of Zakk Wylde. Anyway, the Gorgon, is that how you say that? Whatever the f it's called, dude. Like, I dig this, man. This looks like a Jackson Warrior on acid or something like that. Like, what the f are we looking at? You know, like, it looks ridiculous, but ridiculous in the best way possible. That's not a diss. I think, like, it's intended to look ridiculous. I mean, f***ing look at it, right? It's called Coco Bolo Psychic Bullseye, for example. You know what I mean? Like, what a f***ing name. So I dig this, dude. This is probably one of my favorite, if not my literal favorite, Wild Audio shape, just because it doesn't look like anything we've really ever seen, honestly, like in the guitar market. It's f***ing wild, pun intended. Like, I would love to play one of these things live. Like, what a fucking trip, dude, right? Like, EMGs, big baseball bat neck with the, I'm assuming the natural back of the neck. That's how they used to be. Yep, with the stinger, set neck. Like, it's the fucking shit, dude. So, like, I love Wild Audio so much. I'm so glad they're still around now, like, what, 7 years into it. They're crushing it, it seems. Like, I'm so on board with this, man. So that is super sick. And then we also have another one. We have the Gorgon Special Edition. Now, I'm not sure what's so special about this. Maybe there's, oh, yeah, look at the top, dude. And it's also got the Buzzsaw EMG pickups as well. Honestly, in my opinion, I like the other one better. This one, I feel like, would get ruined by me by playing it because I'm not very graceful with my shit. But it's crazy looking, man. Like, it's crazy and absolutely beautiful. What a beautiful instrument right here. This one's almost $2,000, and then the other one, which I like, the psychedelic Cocobolo Gorgon, whatever, is $1,700. So, all things considered, man, it's not for everybody. It's a, I keep using the word wild. It's a wild guitar. It's interesting, it's crazy, but dude, I love Wild Audio so much. I mean, somebody such as myself who's a traditionalist at heart that loves Les Pauls and EMGs and, you know, big mahogany tops and maple necks like the Northern Era Les Paul and stuff, like, that's my shit, dude. So to see Zakk Wylde's brand and Schecter lean into that, like, makes so much sense to me personally, and I'm a huge fan of that. All things considered, the Freak Juice and the Gorgon, however you say that, Gorgon, I hope I'm saying that right. Those two are definitely my favorite that Schecter has to offer here in about the second quarter of 2024. So everybody, what do you guys think of my thoughts and opinions? I just wanted to hang out with you all today, talk about guitars. It's always such a joy, and it's like my favorite thing about my job. You know, not only do I get to play guitar, but I also get to hang out with you guys and talk about guitars and, you know, just kick it and just have like a nice casual conversation and a good hang, right? So love to hear from you guys down below in the comment section. Again, if you're brand new to my channel, be sure to subscribe, like this video, and follow me on Spotify if you love sick, awesome riffs. I create sick music, and I love to share it with you all. So with that being said, everybody, I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you guys in the next video. See you guys very, very soon. Take care, and yeah, have a good rest of the day, I guess. It's springtime, right? All right, I'm out of here. Later.